Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Share, subscribe, like this video. Make sure you put your prayer request in the bottom. Everybody stay away from outside right now, especially if you're on the East Coast, West Virginia, places like that. The smoke is real bad here. People are getting sick from it. And I'm telling you, we don't know what's in that stuff. I'm telling you, it's very odd that a smoke from all the way up in western Canada is here in southern West Virginia. I'm telling you people, there's something up with it. Don't know what it is, but just, I don't know, something about it just, it don't sit well with me. I don't know what it is. Now this was on Hal Turner, where I am a subscriber to him. This is a subscriber only content. With Ukraine have bombed the Kerch Strait Bridge overnight, and doing so against the roadway, which is a civilian passage, as opposed to the rail passage used by the military. Kyiv has orchestrated yet another attack. This is, like I said, this is one propaganda versus the other one. We don't know which one's correct. This one is likely to cost them dearly. I'm hearing Odessa chatter over intel. Circuits claim that Russia has decided not only end the grain deal, which promised safe passage to civilian cargo shipping, transmitting the northwest Black Sea, but it seems they are intent on blockading Odessa and laying siege to the city, which we talked about earlier, to conquer it. Russia also withdrew guarantees for safety of navigation in the Black Sea. If Russia grabs Odessa, which it does because it's one of the areas that falls, then all the Ukraine will be physically cut off from the Black Sea. Word on initial intel circuits say that Ukraine only wanted the grain deal so they could use safe passage components to bring in military material. Allegedly, the grain deal, which was to make Ukraine wheat go to the poor and starving Africa, but less than 40% of the grain actually went to Africa. The rest allegedly went to Europe because of Europe paid more. I have told Russian naval assets are being sent towards Odessa to prepare for implement an actual blockade. The West is already protesting the cession of the grain deal. Russia alleged reply to the West was your planes surveilled the bridge before and during the bombing. Meanwhile, you knew about it in advance. Now suffer. Which is there's definitely going to be a lot of nations that depend on that grain from them, and just, it's a sad, sad thing. Let's see. This is a little bit more information on it last night. We'll go in depth on it. Updated last night, the section when it got hit. A little before 10 p.m. Eastern U.S. time last night, reports say multiple explosions hit the Kerch Strait Bridge between Russia and Crimea. At least one section of the bridge reportedly collapsed. Numerous civilians are injured, and still a vehicle trapped on the bridge, and a couple died and their daughter survived. Developing stories with rapid updates coming in. Let's see. The Russian appointed leader of Crimea, Sergei, has announced that the fourth 145th pillar of the Kerch Bridge has collapsed as a result of a terrorist attack, causing a total halt in the car traffic across the bridge. He further stated that no damage was caused to the train bridge, and the rail traffic will begin again soon. Let's see. This was what came in last night. We've still been waiting. Now, last night, very late at night, they had called and brought Putin into Moscow. And it was an emergency meeting, so they had some emergency meetings last night. And we still haven't heard anything that's come out of those yet. At least there's no news on it yet. We're probably going to be hearing more through the night and through the day of different things that are occurring at this moment. I was just wanting to go in depth on some of these stories. See, I'm checking war news now. Let's see. This is one I wanted to get into. It's always fun to do Dimitri because Dimitri is kind of crazy and gives you an idea of some things that's through the Russian minds. Medvedev's furious reaction to the attack on the Kursk bridge. He calls for immediate Russian retaliation. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said today that Russia must destroy the top leadership of what is called the terrorist formations after the Crimean bridge attack. Russia said a couple who was killed and their daughter injured in the incident, which it blamed on Ukrainian special forces. The Ukraine military initially hinted that Russia was behind the attack, but Ukraine media reported that Ukraine's security services attacked the bridge using remote control unmanned surface vehicles. Let's see. I mean, our Reaper, our Q4 drones was there during the attack, so it was our intelligence that did it, that led them to it. See, Putin angers at the leaders of the West, and here we are. And see, President Vladimir Putin stated that yesterday when he referred to the European politicians that you're most dependent puppets on the planet. You know something is that European politicians, do what they are told from abroad, he said in an interview. If they say to them tomorrow, we have decided to hang you all, they will ask one question, their eyes stunned by their audacity. Can we do this with domestic rope making? Putin said. And this will be another failure for them. Sorry, and here you are. Did he miss it? Sorry, I think with this fiasco for them, because of the Americans are very unlikely to refuse such a big contract for a textile industry, Putin said. So what he's basically coming out and saying is that they do what the United States tells them to do, and they don't really care as long as they get orders from us. So it gives you the perspective of where his mind is, okay? He's blaming us for anything that goes on over there, that we're the ones behind it. Ukrainians to launch massive attack on Crimea. British underwater robots blew up the Kursk bridge, knocked it out for months. It says here, to blow received to the Kursk bridge is quite serious, as admitted by Putin and the other Russian officials. According to the data so far, the bridge was hit by an underwater autonomous drone robots of the British manufacturer. Part of the bridge has collapsed. The Russians say at least 2 explosions went off under a bridge at 3:04. In fact, the Russian Ministry of Transport and Communications said that the 155th pillar of the bridge on the Crimean side has been damaged. So he did admit that any of the piers of the bridge were damaged by an attack, but he said a section of the roadway was completely destroyed and would have to be built from scratch. He added that the road's traffic will resume in one direction on the road by September the 15th, with road traffic in both directions restored by November the 1st. New Russian information indicates that one lane of the bridge was completely destroyed and will be replaced with a new one. The second one has been displaced by 70% and will probably be restored. In addition, one railway line in the bridge was damaged. The British have opened the window of opportunity for the Ukrainians to launch a massive attack on Crimea in the next 2 months. It remains to be seen if it will succeed. It also is clear that yesterday the Ukrainians and British were looking for vulnerable points of the Russian defense on the bridge of Kursk. The attack on Crimea Bridge was carried out with the help of British Remus 600 autonomous underwater robot with an additional load of explosives. Until today, it was known that the British delivered to Kiev the Remus 100, but not the more advanced version of it. The drone is easily controlled via laptop and was launched from a civilian vessel in the Black Sea. The robot can move underwater at a depth of 600 meters, has a sailing duration of about 70 hours at a speed of about 5 knots. With increased transport capacity, it can cover 286 nautical miles, almost 500 kilometers. The British intelligence service again played a role in the escalation of the war in Ukraine, and the new underwater drones have shown their effectiveness. The same, the Russian source says. A few hours before the attack on the bridge, the Sentinel-2 LLC satellite recorded 4 objects moving at high speed at a distance of 75 kilometers southeast towards the Crimean coast. This could hit the Crimean bridge or be the carriers of the drones. Let's see. Said, did an American drone guide the Ukrainian attack? Question mark. According to Russian media, on the eve of the Ukraine attack, the Crimean bridge, an American Reaper drone circled over the Black Sea, and it did. There's 2 of them actually that was doing it. At night, the drone operated at international airspace and could be used to coordinate the actions of the Ukraine Special Services. No more guesswork. It was a naval strike. 1 axis of the bridge fell, 1 bent. The bases of the intact. See, the bases are intact at night. A U.S. Air Force MQ-9 Reaper reconnaissance and strike UAV flew over the Black Sea, Russian sources says. It is no coincidence that the representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry accused Britain and the U.S. today. Today, the attack on the Crimean bridge was carried out by the Kiev region. The regime is terrorist and has the characteristics of organized crime organization. Decisions are made by Ukraine officials and the military with the direct involvement of the American and British intelligence and its politicians. The U.S. and Britain led a terrorist state. The U.S. and British lead a terrorist state structure. This is coming out of Russia today. Let's see if there's anything else. They're definitely showing the Reapers and everything there. So they're saying this is equivalent of a terrorist attack, like we've been seeing it on the news. But the most important part is that Russia's now bringing us and Britain into this, okay? Which both planes, both intelligence services was present at the bridge, surveying the bridge up until it happened. But the key part of this is that Russia is now saying it out loud, what we all known for a while, that the U.S. and Britain are playing a key role in this counter-strike. Ukraine does not have the intelligence. They don't have the resources. It's all being done by us, which brings us in the midst of World War III. That's the reason I bring up these stories. These are proof. And when you go to the prophecy, like it's going to be under the video, it's going to be in the description box. If you go to the last video on there, you'll see that prophecy. You'll start to see it play out and the way it will end, okay? So imagine all these stories now you got. Now go to, in my description box, go to the last video, okay? And watch that prophecy. And I have seen that prophecy. So has Bonnie and so has many others. Now, we didn't see exactly what he saw. We saw different parts, but they all add up to that, okay? Now, watch that and then listen to the stories. Go to War News. Go to Hal Turner. Read the stories. And you're going to say, wow, because you start to see it lead to it. When World War III happens, these stories now in their infancy, that's what brings this about. The rapture happens before these stories wrap up and bring World War III. Rapture happens, we leave. And then this stuff starts to truly unfold. We just don't know when. But we know we're in the season. All of us watchmen and watchwomen around the world We can see it coming. I mean, I was just thinking about the other night. I don't know if you all have sit back and really thought about it, but I was sitting and just kind of watching news and not really thinking much. And the stories and the people talking about getting rid of God, like I mean, it was, burning Bibles and LGBTQ and so much of this stuff, and the government pushing this stuff. And I was thinking, boy, this is exactly what he was talking about in the last days. An unruly bunch of people that have no fear of God, and they don't care about God. They just want to destroy God. And you hear a lot of that in the World Economic Forum. We're God. There is no God, and we're going to get rid of this God, and we're going to get rid of it. That's the stuff he was talking about. And it's like a disease, and it's filling the earth. If you want to truly know, and I know these are a lot of signs, but that's our number one sign, is watching people around the world and their hatred and their evil. They're like, well, the people's always been hatred and evil. Not like they are now. No, they have not been. Anybody tells you they have, they're lying. There has never been, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, you didn't cuss on TV. Heck, even when I was working in radio and TV, you didn't cuss on TV. You didn't cuss on radio. All of a sudden, honey, all floodgates have opened, and it's okay to do anything. And if you can't see that, you're blind to the world. Just from the time I was a kid to now, I've never seen anything like this. The things that come out of these people's mouths, I'm blown away. I truly am. Blown away by the pure evil of this world. Do you know Canada has passed everything in the world? It's probably funny that they're the ones, their whole country's burning to the ground. But they passed a thing where it's okay to kill somebody if they just don't want to live. If I'm depressed, you can go and the state of Canada will kill you. God help us. Like I said, we're getting out of here. These countries run by these evil, evil people. And these evil people have taken over the world and every government. But like I said, let's don't call them people. These are demons. And they're running amok, just like it was back in the days of Noah. And he said that when all this stuff happens, it'll be just like the days of Noah. Well, it is. It's exactly like the days of Noah again. Just to open your eyes. That's why I can't understand how people can't see it. It's because they're asleep. Once your eyes are open, you're looking around, you're like, oh, Lord. But it's happening. And the Lord's given us plenty of signs. Plenty of signs. You think it's coincidence that Canada's having the worst fire season in the history of Canada ever? This week is going to be the hottest week on the planet ever. We're breaking records every day. 1,000-year floods here, 1,000-year floods there. Earthquakes galore. People being killed all over the planet in different places. Serial killers running amok. It's just, this is usually a quiet place here. One of the last places of America, I do believe, that's truly old America. It was not even a night ago. Very close to me, they found a young woman. They burned her to death and left her to die. And that's here. It's everywhere, people. It's everywhere. Children disappearing off the planet. You know, about a month ago, there was 25 kids in a town disappeared overnight. Vanished. I think it was near Cleveland. I think I'd actually done that story. What was so strange, it was all in a area, and some of these kids disappeared out of homes. Nothing and no big media on it. All their media covered was the Pride Month. That's all they cared. They don't care about anything else. If you don't know, there's a movie. I won't even say its name because they're so going after it right now. But it's talking about fighting the child stuff. You can't even say the name here because they'll flag you. That's how sad this is. You can't talk about saving children, or they'll flag you everywhere. Hollywood fighting it like crazy. They don't want nobody talking because I'm telling you, people, if you truly knew just how truly evil this world is, and people's like, oh, nothing's happening, everything's fine and hunky-dory. No, it's not. This world's evil. It's beyond evil. It's actually past Sodom and Gomorrah 100-fold. And it's not just America, it's the whole world. It's not just one, it's every country. But it's like, America's Babylon. Well, I said, well, the whole world must be Babylon because there's places in the world worse than here. So, that don't make much sense when the whole world is Babylon. Because the whole world went completely and utterly nuts. You think it's bad here? Go try to go in some of these other countries. You'll disappear or something will happen to you. It's not safe to go anywhere. I mean, we live in a world that's on fire, just like it is in Canada. If that's exactly what's happening, and I'm highly doubting it. Oh, that stuff has a funny smell to it. It don't smell like burnt wood. Don't trust it. Don't get in it. I'm telling you. I was in it just a little bit today, and I've got a headache. Cannot shake it. Don't trust what's happening. Let me tell you something. Lucifer is running amok, him and his demons. We're getting ready to get out of here very soon. If you can't see it, you're blind, because it's happening. And those saying that I'm doing it on purpose about having air fresheners, listen, I have checked behind anything on here about seeing if there's anything. I've even listened to the computers to see if they make that noise. Okay? I do have air fresheners on the other side of the house. Not in here. Because of my allergies. And I go looking to make sure nothing's making noises like air conditioners, fans. Because I do have a heat pump. And I've checked the vents to see if there's anything in there that can make a sound, or, when a computer or something like that kicks on and kicks off, stuff like that. So listen, I'm not trying to pull anything on anybody. I'm talking about when they hear listen. But I've went back, and Bonnie even McCoy knows this. I've went and tore everything apart trying to find it. Okay? If you hear a little thing going off now, that's my back's alarm out back. That's probably sensing does going through the backyard. But I have security around this whole house. But no, I don't try to pull anything on anybody. As soon as the first time I ever heard it, the first thing I did was start tearing everything down, trying to figure out where it came from. So yeah, I don't do that. And even if I was doing anyone in here, I would remove anything that makes a noise. I don't do that stuff, okay? I don't do it. I don't pull games like that at all. People that know me here know that, but some of these people here, they think everybody's a scammer, everybody's after them. They think everything's the devil, even if God was trying to help them and he came right, sent an angel to their house, they'd call it a demon. I mean, that's the world we live in today, and that's another sign that we're getting ready to get out of here, because nobody believes in God or any miracles or anything anymore. Don't believe in anything. Everything's the devil, everything. If I sneeze, it's the devil. That's what, you have to delete the comments, because, everybody, devil, 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 oh, it's the devil, this is the devil, that's the devil. Oh, I had a lollipop today, oh, that's the devil. Oh, sad world. I'm glad I grew up in the time I did. Let me tell you something. I was blessed to have lived here, because people here ain't like that. Very blessed. That's one thing I'm blessed with. Here, they love Jesus, they fear God, and that's why I never move. Very good place here. I advise everybody, if you got a good place to live, stay there. At least until we're out of here, because the world's went to crap in a handbasket. And it's just ridiculous out there. So definitely protect yourself and watch yourself, because like I said, now I'm talking about this smoke. I don't know. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. I love each and every one of you. Make sure you keep your prayer requests in the bottom like we always tell you. Thank you for those who bought me coffees today. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting the ministry. I never ask, but you guys do it. And I thank you for it because you help me and I actually use it to help others. It's what I do. I love you. God bless each and every one of you. If there's anything else comes across tonight, I'll come back on. We'll do like little break-ins. If anything else, because I am waiting for Russia to retaliate, and it's going to happen. And I think we're just right from this point on, we're going to see escalation, and this is going to keep ticking. The birth pains will, and then we're out of here. Okay? Listen, I love you. Even if you don't like me, I still love you. You might not agree with me, I still love you. Love each other. Pray and get as many people on the ark as possible. Okay? We're coming on these channels, the great watchmen and watchwomen, teaching you no fear, that we're getting ready to leave here, and we're just trying to get as many people saved as possible, okay? That's what we're trying to do. Good night. Unless there's something else happens, I'll jump back on. But if I don't see or hear from you again, I'll see you in heaven.